Good morning or good evening to you all. Welcome to this webinar of Lan Handling Technologies. My name is Vera de Winkel, Technical Sales Manager. And we have here Tom Broeder from AGV International, who will tell us something more about AGVs. So, dear Tom, can you tell me something about AGVs and AGV International?
Yes, of course, Vera. Thank you very much for the invitation. AGV International is a small, lean, family-owned business company. We are working since 2015 exclusively for the Dutch market. And we collaborate with ABB, ASTI, for our AGV program.
Okay.
And I can tell you something about it.
Yeah, please.
What we see in reality is that implementing an AGV system is comparable with a chess play. So all the things which will occur, all the things which will happen, you need to think upfront about that and then make the move. So that's why we address this page. We all automate, so we are a company. We get a lot of requests from our customers and of course prospects to see how we can help them, support them with the complete supply chain, and then see if it's possible to automate those processes.
Okay.
So what I said, we're a family-owned business. We are part of a group with I'm Automating, and the total quantity of people is 24 FTE. And we work in the Dutch market especially.
Only the Dutch market? Or?
Yeah, what we decided, in the past we had a French venture, which gave a little bit of troubles due to the culture difference and the language difference. And so we said, okay, the ambitious projects we mostly have, because we don't do a lot of standard solutions, but mostly some ambitious solutions. We decided to do it first in the Netherlands, and then when you realize some projects on this high-tech ambitious level, then we can copy towards outside the Netherlands.
Okay.
But first things first.
A good fundament.
Yeah,
and then go further.
Absolutely. You requested us to talk about the use case. We have been working with LiveKindly since 2019. They requested us to look at their supply chain internally and see what kind of processes we could automate. The difference in this project is that they started as LiveKindly, but during the way they were purchased worldwide by LiveKindly. Okay. So let's say the activities in OS, they changed from the LiveKindly performance towards the LiveKindly performance.
Okay. Interesting for you. I can imagine.
Yeah, it's interesting, but also a bit hectic, because you can understand that they built a complete new factory, let's say, in Os. Yeah. And we needed to move along that change. So you can imagine that the original design changed a lot towards the current design. And I explained this according to the next two sheets. This is the, let's say, primer design, where you see a part of the warehouse and a part of the production area, and just a few AGVs. That was, let's say, the first scope. Yeah. June 2019, and during the way towards LiveKindly, this is, let's say, the new layout, where you see that things have been extended extremely.
Small thing.
Small thing. We just doubled the warehouse capacity, and we do also occupy the freezing department with a fully automated warehouse system. And then we work with 3 AGVs.
That's a challenging change of scope.
Yeah, absolutely. Normally, we always say to our customers, when you want to implement an AGV system, you need to be aware of the at least 3 to 6 months of headache and problems you will have in your process. Yeah. And most of the customers, they talk, of course, with a lot of suppliers, and many times nobody talks about that period, because it's extremely difficult. We call it like almost comparable with top sport. You get every day new surprises, And most of the times, those surprises you do not benefit from, you know.
Everybody needs to be aware how it's working
exactly.
and what kind of impact it has on the company.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's, I think, the main goal, main target, that up front you start to discuss with the customer all the minor details and all the problems which occur, so that the customer knows upfront what he will buy or what he will get. And you can imagine if you only talk about the sunshine and during the implementation it's only raining, everybody is sad, you know.
Yeah.
But if you warn upfront that there will be rain, there will be snow, everybody knows and understands that after the snow, the sunshine will come.
We look forward, everybody, to that moment.
Yeah. So, part of the scope, 3 AGVs from ABB ASTI, stacker AGVs, so we can lift up to a maximum of 6 meters high. And one of the good functionalities is that we have an onboard scanning for the barcode labels.
Okay.
So that is not specifically needed everywhere, but for this venture we needed to scan something and to address the end position of the pallet in the warehouse, in one of the 2 warehouses.
For the traceability.
Yeah.
And how I can imagine that if these AGVs are driving through the factory, how about safety?
Good question. People who are not aware about AGVs, they see such a vehicle of, let's say, 2,000 kilograms own weight, with a pallet of 1.5 ton. So you have like 3.5, 4,000 kilograms of total mass driving without a driver. That looks very scary, especially when you see it for the first time. But there's no more safer way to transport pallets than doing that automated.
Okay, and how's that working then?
You can see that if you look at the safety devices, which are part of the NEN AN ISO 3691.4, that's, let's say, the Bible on which you can produce AGVs. And one of them is, of course, how do you avoid collision? Because, again, 3.5, 4,000 kilograms of mass driving through your warehouse. You should not imagine that someone gets smashed between the wall and the AGV, for example. So to avoid collision is the most important device which has to be on an AGV. Most of the manufacturers, they work with a laser scanner. And the laser scanner is detecting objects. And when it detects an object, the activity of the AGV will change.
Okay.
So, for example, you see here the 3 phases in the scanning field. The first phase, when it detects an object, it will not accelerate anymore. The second phase, when it detects an object, it will downsize. It will break down slowly. And when an object is still there, and you get into the orange-red area, then the AGV will stop completely. Okay. And it will stop until, let's say, the object is moved. So that is very important. Now, most of the times, there are a few manufacturers of those scanners. They need to be certified, of course, because it can be the difference between life and death, you know. So
I can imagine.
Quite expensive scanners. And also the programming needs to be very certified in a certified way. Yeah,
but safety is everything.
You can imagine we work with a lot of corporate companies. ABB ASTI itself is a corporate company. You cannot imagine or ever have any collision with someone that might jeopardize your business completely. So it's the most important part, of course. What we try to show you is that we are able to interface with racking systems.
Okay.
That is something typical because, for example, the flatness of the floor is extremely important. The bending of the mast is extremely important. The distance between the pallets, everything and every millimeter counts.
It looks so simple and easy.
It looks quite simple, but it is it's everything but. What's also very important, when you start a project, most of the times you ask for the layout. We work with AutoCAD, so you get a DWG file. And what we learned is that every customer tells us this drawing is correct. But we have experienced a lot that everything but correct is the drawing. So
really?
We need to measure always the environment to be sure that things are right or wrong. Because again, with AGVs, it's all about millimeters. Here you see an example. This is a corridor. We originally had 2 driving routes, one forth, one back. But during the installation, maybe 1 week before that, we measured and we have found a discrepancy in the original drawing and the reality. Okay. So then we need to move back to 1 driving road, which is here not giving any problems. But if you have a tight capacity, then you can imagine that when you don't, when you cannot pass each other, you have a problem because of capacity downsizing. Here you see the example of the expedition area, where we try to design as much as efficient possibility. We work with gravity conveyors, about 20 meters long, so 8 pieces, 8 units. But gravity conveyors, in collaboration with AGVs, is a no-go. So at the end,
why? Can you explain me?
Yeah, I will explain you. If you look at this picture, when an AGV picks up the pallet from the end of the conveyor needs to be not with a gravity percentage, but it needs to be like horizontal, 100%. Here you can see that the pallet at the end of the roller bed is always a little bit offset. And we need to centralize it completely to a fixed zero. And here you can see that slightly we change the gravity towards horizontal because the AGV does not have any tilt functionality. The forks are straight, and if the pallet is having this gravity of 4%, then we cannot enter the pallet fully without collisioning with the wood. So it looks simple, but it's a lot of thinking behind it. And that brings me to you, because a lot of thinking behind our solution is also the Lan solution. At let's say at the end of our location, we bring the complete pallets with crates towards your roller conveyors. And maybe you can explain me how this works, because that's your part.
That would be nice. Well, what we see here on the video is that the robot takes stacks with folded crates from the pallet, places it on the conveyor belt, and the conveyor belt takes the stacks with it into the crate erector. Here you see that there's 1 crate taken away from the bottom, moved to the shift table, and the folded crate is falling down, held by the grippers. But then the walls are falling open, and we fix them, we lock the walls, and then we flip it back and take it with the conveyor. And we can check if the crates are folded open correctly. If not, we can recheck them. And in this case, when a pallet is empty, the robot will take the empty pallet to the other conveyor. We gather here some more empty pallets. And when we have a stack of empty pallets, we will give it back to your system. So it's a nice cooperation.
The loop is closed. And we get the pallet of the stack of pallets we get back from your device. And we will stock it somewhere in the warehouse. So that's nice. Something very important, if you want to automate your warehouse or your production area, you need to be very clear about the pallet protocol. You need to know what kind of flow you need to follow. You need to know what are the, let's say, the agreements you have, what are the sizes, the overhang, all kind of details which are standard for normal actions, for manual actions. They are, let's say, exceptions for the AGV. Might be exceptional for the AGV.
But does every company has a clear view of what they are using?
No. We talk to a lot of customers, and of course they know high over what they do, but an AGV system cannot be designed on a high over design. You need to dive into the minor details because, again, it can come up to millimeters when you have a problem or not.
Yeah.
When a complete system will run or fail, might depending on millimeters.
Okay.
Yeah. So what we do, we make the inbound pallet protocol part of the pallet requirements so that everybody knows in what kind of condition the pallet needs to be. And it's not like, oh, 90%, 95%, no. 100% of the pallets need to be correct, and then we can guarantee a 100% functionality from the system.
Okay. What our experience is with customers, that we have installed a line of equipment based on several specifications. Yeah. And then the customer is coming to us, oh, dear Lan, we have a question. We need to move to another specification. Yeah. And maybe then in your case, another pallet. Yeah. Can you adjust the system then? Or what steps can be taken?
Yeah, of course you can adjust, but that has a limit. So the model, for example, of the AGV, in this case, we can have like 1,600 kilogram max. Mm-hmm. If the customer comes in between and telling us, we need to transport 2,000 kilograms, then of course those AGVs are limited, and suitable. It's impossible. Yeah. But if you talk about overhang, sizing, dimensions, and that kind of stuff, we can adjust in the system. But of course, every change during the project installation will give some time, cost or quality issues.
Some delays.
So we try to avoid that. Yeah. But I must say that nowadays, a project in the past used to change maybe on a few details. Mm-hmm. Nowadays, it changes continuously. We were also requested by the customer to supply a solution for their freezing department. Mm-hmm. They have a 24/7 production for frozen products and only a 5 days, 16 hours a day outbound. Okay. So they need to have a buffer area where they wanted to have a fully automated solution to stock as much as possible pallets. So we came up with the 4-way shuttle solution, the iCube. As you can see in the movie, the shuttle is not only driving from forth to back, forward and backwards, but also left and right.
Okay.
Yeah, and that gives a very compact solution where you can have the most optimized density of storage.
And how is it then with the temperature? Because I saw minus 25 degrees. Yeah. Yeah. Does that has influence on the AGVs, on iCubes?
It has influence, but mainly on the battery capacity. Because if a battery is acting in a frozen environment, then it cannot hold as long as in a normal environment.
Okay.
But the product itself, the lift, the elevators, the shuttles, and of course the racking, they can stand in minus 25.
Okay. Well, it's looking good.
Yeah, so that was our explanation about the use case, LiveKindly. We are almost finished. The second phase will start during the summer. And after the summer, we will hand over the iCube system. So then we are fully aligned with the agreement.
It sounds like a very cool project and a nice cooperation between AGV and Lan Handling.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the customer, of course. Yeah. That's the most important part of the story. Yeah. Thank you very much for your presentation. Yeah. And I want to thank you all for having a look at this webinar. And if you have any questions, please ask.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.